Today we have comedian Tom Simmons on with us. Good to have you here, Tom.
Hey, how you doing?
Do you want to just tell everyone a little about yourself, and we'll start there?
I'm a comedian for the last, 20-something years. So that's what I've done since I was cutting grass and going to school and, so been doing that for whatever. So that's what I've been doing. And then I work in comedy clubs all over, work wherever, theaters. And I was working cruise ships before COVID hit, and now I'm starting over and doing open mics. And
just doing a lot of writing.
Yeah, just doing a lot of writing. So that's what I do. I'm a dad. I had a video web series for a little while that I did, and that kind of saved me too in comedy. Like gave me like 2 years of staying at home and coaching baseball with my son and writing like topical jokes and stuff.
Oh, cool.
So
what got you into comedy?
Oh, I did it. I had some friends talk me into doing an open mic, and I did well. And then you catch that buzz of like, oh, I want to do that. It didn't, and then next thing you know, you're like, I'm going to a bar to try to win the bar tab that night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go up there and be funny. And so I would do that here and there, and then you just start finding places to do it more and more. And then next thing you know, you got a guy that's like, hey, I got this room over here. And then I went and did that room. And then he paid me to drive and do a gig in Alabama. And then you pick up a week hosting in Savannah. And like next thing you know, you're a comedian. If that makes sense. Like
That's cool.
It wasn't something I was like, I'm going to go do that. I just figured, I kept kind of getting little, and you're a kid, and I was a kid, early 20s, partying, and then I quickly, once I realized, I want to do this, I had to quit drinking because it was affecting how I did comedy and everything, and then I just started doing what driving to wherever you could, to drive to Chattanooga from Atlanta. I started basically in Atlanta, and drive to the next thing, and try to drive up to Nashville and try to get a week there, and then you just like I said, next thing you know, you're a comedian. And then I stumbled into getting an agent that liked that I just wanted to be a comedian, and then he started getting me work as a feature act in all the Funny Bones and improvs and just driving around the country. And then I met the girl that became my wife, and we bought a motorhome and lived in it for 3 years, driving around gig to gig. And then it's 20-something years later, and I live here in Greensboro, and I'm a comedian.
That's awesome. Where did you start at?
One of the first times I did it was just down in Tallahassee. There was a Coconuts Comedy Club place that I did a couple like open mics, and then I didn't do it again for 6 months, 8 months, and then I moved to Atlanta, back to Atlanta, and I basically started there. And I started at Uptown Comedy Corner. It was basically like my first home club.
Okay.
Which was Comedian Earthquakes Club. It's back in the day of Def Jam and all that, so it was an all-black room, and I would do there, and then a little coffee house, and try to do some Punchline, which was more of a mainstream type room.
Yeah.
So that's
like a franchise.
Yeah. So I started, by mainstream I mean mostly white, and then everybody,
Oh, just a more typical comedy club.
There was just if you went to Uptown, you were the white guy, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like that, like you go to the Punchline, mainstream, that's what I mean. It was like the room that...
More like the Comedy Zone type
Yes.
room. Yeah.
Yes.
So, what was your childhood like? Like what sort of influenced you to go into comedy? Or
That laugh says a lot.
Well, my childhood, I moved a lot. I was born on Long Island, and then Illinois, and then, a divorce, so Illinois, and then I'm living in like Rockford, Illinois, which is outside, like northwest of Chicago, and then another place in Illinois, and then Atlanta, and then Wisconsin, and then back to Atlanta, and then Colorado. My sister was she was a really good figure skater.
Oh, wow.
Like one of the best. So as she sort of went up the line, she'd moved to that training facility where she would get coaches, or she had a sponsor that would help pay for stuff, And then we'd sort of move in stages to wherever she was, and then she'd do the next thing. It was like, go do that. And then so we moved around a lot as she sort of climbed the ladder.
So you had a lot of interesting experiences growing up.
Yeah, and then we boarded skaters. Like that was part of how my mom paid our bills. Like when we lived in Wisconsin, we had like 10 different skaters. Like they had a good rink and coaching system in place there, I guess. So they would do like what we would do. Like when my sister would move to Atlanta, she'd live with a family. So there'd be like, that's what was happening with us. Like there was 6 to 10 other girls and boy skaters that came and lived at our house and paid $80 a week, and their parents would sort of send them off there.
I'm sure it was a really weird experience for you.
Yeah. My childhood was, it's just, it is what it is. Like my wife, people always say, you should talk about your crazy family when they were you, but to me, they're just, I don't really have a lot of stuff on that.
It's like you lived in an ice skating business.
Yeah, if you want to talk late 70s, early 80s, male and female figure skating, I'm your guy. You know what I mean?